things that I won't mention now earlier. And I noticed that those colorblind icons and stuff were in there, and they're really cool.
Yeah.
They're very helpful, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy them being in the game, regardless if you need that colorblind help or not. And here she is, that bad bitch you guys have been waiting for. This is the Gorgon. Can we see Dan's game in the chat? Bad bitches sound off. That one's for Cash Bryant. Bad bitches sound off in the chat with Dan's game. I want to see it as we show our first ever gameplay of the Gorgon.
Oh yeah, it's just, this is showing off her traversal, which, you know, all the monsters have very distinct different traversal styles. So hers is kind of it's a web grab sling, and she, you know, pulls herself to it across the map. It's not flight. It's more Spider-Man-esque.
Yes.
And then you saw her spitting some acid out there as well.
Yeah, the traversal has been a very big question from you guys. I've been seeing that a lot. How does she get around? As you can see, she uses it, like Chloe said, almost like a Spider-Man. But then there's the difference with this traversal compared to the others, is that she is able to mark a spot on available areas. Obviously, you can't go all the way to the top of the pillar, as we know with the rest of the monsters. They can't get up there either. But just high enough here to where she can cling on the edge and potentially drop some of these other abilities down on the hunters.
Yeah, so she wasn't full armor there, so she was like, all right, I'm going to get up there and I'm going to wait. And you can actually shoot your abilities from that perch up there. So you can drop acid, you can throw out these spider traps. You saw one of those come out. Those get put on the ground. They're kind of like, it's almost like you're dropping plants. Yeah. Right? And then as the hunters come along, they pop out of the ground and will run towards the nearest hunter, grab them, and drag them away at speed. Which, the first time it happens to you guys, is going to be really disorienting. It's like the first time you got tongue grabbed by Behemoth and you were like, what the hell is going on? My character is flying.
Yeah, or like that first plant you dropped into, but it moves after and runs away from your teammates.
So if you thought plants were rough.
The kit he has right now is he's got the web that he can shoot out on the left bumper you can see there. This is going to slow down the hunters. It's also going to do a little damage over time, I believe. And it's going to disorient them. And then, of course, the spider trap and the acid spit right now is the kit he's going. He uses the traversal there to get over. As you can see, the Gorgon here, she can get from point A to point B very quickly when she wants to get these hunters in a place that's more advantageous for her to fight.
Yeah, no, she's...
Oh, look at the jack counter to that. Nicely done.
Very nicely done. They've clearly been paying attention so far this morning. But the acid spit not only does damage as it comes out, it also leaves an acid pool on the ground that will do damage over time. So you want to, like with Behemoth's lava bombs, you don't want to stand in that.
No, and you can combo it as the Gorgon really well. If you throw a spider trap down and it catches a hunter, and then you drop that acid spit right there, if the spider doesn't run out of it, it's also going to do that acid damage as well, which is
same
really
with the web snare as well, because it doesn't completely immobilize the hunters, but it will slow them down a lot, and your ability to escape from an acid pool on the ground or, you know, a potential pounce is really limited. So it's pretty cool. I've seen all sorts of... We're going to have Chris Ashton on talking about all of this in a little bit, but her development process has been really cool.
Yeah. And, you know, I want to say we absolutely appreciate your patience and your excitement with getting this monster out to you here. So excited to finally be showing her off for the first time, and she can be in your hands on November 3rd.
Yeah, and for anybody who bought the PC Monster Race Edition, or if you bought the second season pass, yeah, it's gonna be out there. She'll be in your game, ready to load on Tuesday, right?
Yep. And I also saw another question about because in season 2 the hunters got the victory skins, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Right.
So if you have season 2 for the monster, you will get the scarab skin for Gorgon, which is very
really
gorgeous.
Pretty.
Yeah.
It's really pretty. I think this is just the basic skin right now, so it's hard to see. Oh, and when he evolved.
So Corey being a basic bitch, I think they would say, right? He's actually being a pretty bad bitch against these guys right now. So far, not taking a lot of damage. So, a little more love for Cash Bryant in the chat there. I know you love that one, Cash.
He did take that mimic ability when he staged up. So basically, when you see him sort of become stationary, and it's like a husk of his character right there, comes out, and basically he can run towards the hunters and detonate that at will.
Yep.
Or it will detonate on its own after a certain period of time has elapsed. And it's a pretty cool ability. Chris was talking earlier about some different ways that you can use it because it does have a health pool.
Yeah.
So if you can see it from a long distance away as a hunter, you'll want to target that first so that you can kill it before it blows up on your team because it'll do quite a lot of damage.
And they did that there. They learned from it the first time. The first time he was able to, and what I love about it is if you time it right, you can use it, and if the hunters are low enough in health, you can use it as a incapacitation nuke, really. You get it there, as he did the first time he engaged, and he saw that the hunter was like around half health or less, threw that mimic at the hunter and was able to bring him down immediately. The second time there, though, he tried to pop it up over the wall there, and they were ready for it, and they killed it before it could do any damage and before he could make it explode on them. So what I've been trying to do with Gorgon, with that ability, is what he's doing right here, is waiting to an opportune moment where you have a hunter potentially by themselves, and then get behind something so you're not in line of sight as well, because when you put the mimic out, you also stay stationary there.
Yeah, it went through quite a few iterations, but it does, you're kind of vulnerable, so if, it doesn't last that long, but you can still take damage with your normal body while that mimic is out there. And we have a question from Marks Willem. We're gonna go with that. Can you use the mimic while hanging from a wall?
Yeah, you know what? We should actually direct that at Corey and have him attempt this during the game here.
Yeah,
I think
let's make Corey do that. He's been doing a really good job, I think, of I don't know if someone's relaying messages to him as I talk about things, or he just is picking up on my ESP vibes. But
yeah, he's been showing off the kit very well.
So you can use all your other abilities, but you can't use mimic while hanging from the wall.
And that's coming from Brill, so we know it's right.
Yeah, Brill, one of our extremely knowledgeable QA folks.
Yes.
And yeah, he knows all, so.
Very good question, though.
On that. Yeah, that is a good question.
Not something I tried when I was using Gorgon.
Yeah, I've played her once because Shane really messed up some people that we had in here. And I was like, oh, it's okay. I've never played her before, and I was able to give a pretty good game to some new people who'd never played before, because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. They didn't know what they were doing. It was great.
Nice. You see, he drops the spider trap there in the little archway, because normally the way that hunters are chasing in this game is they're chasing those tracks if they're close, right? Because they don't want to lose you. Unless they're splitting off and they're trying to cut you off, they're chasing those tracks. So what he does is he finds a chokehold, goes through there, drops the spider trap down, and then moves on. And ideally for Gorgon, the hunters are going to follow through that arch there, and one of them is going to get trapped.
Yeah, and he put an acid pool down as well in that area, which forces them to either go up and over it, which burns their jetpack, or run through it and take damage.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool. Definitely seeing how someone like Corey, who's a former competitive player, approaches this character. Binary Star has another question. Let's see, what does the mimic look like from the hunter's point of view? Is it glowing like it is on the monster's point of view? Yes, it looks just the same.
Yeah, it
Except
does look
scarier, because it's gonna hurt you.
It does. It looks like a big golden ghost coming at you, and you know it's going to explode in your face and potentially drop you. So yeah, definitely terrifying, but does look the same, but from the other side, of course.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. Whereas with Wraith's decoy, it's supposed to actually make you believe it's the Wraith itself and not a decoy. So at first glance, unless you're shooting it, it just looks like Wraith. So with Gorgon, her mimic is very distinctly different. So there's no confusing it for the actual monster.
Yeah.
And you can deal with it accordingly. CK Zombie asking about the how the wall stick works. I don't think it drains traversal while you're clinging there. It just uses up whichever traversal bar.
Yeah, so with Gorgon, it's not Behemoth, right? Behemoth's the only one that has the bar that is going to empty as you're using it.
Yeah, and you see there, Kim getting the little red no symbol is that's not a climbable surface, and he can't stick to it. So just make sure that you're pointing to an area that you can actually stick.
Yeah, Gorgon has the 3 traversals there.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh God, can Gorgon go on the ceiling of caves? I think it's kind of trial and error in which surfaces she can cling to and which she can't. I think you see that little kind of web in the middle of the reticle showing when she kind of hovers over something, and that'll tell you if you can stick to it or not.
I think these questions are all amazing, but I think these questions would be best saved potentially for Chris.
Yeah,
right?
probably.
So
Chris knows all of this
Shaner's,
stuff like the back
keep
of
the
his
questions coming, but let's bring them back when Chris is on here. We want the expert to be answering these questions because they're really good questions.
They are.
And they are very specific to this monster, of course.
Yeah, although I can answer the one about traversal from ZGGO, okay? Probably said, I'm terrible with screen names today.
Yeah.
But she always leaves tracks. All of our monsters always leave tracks unless they're sneaking. So when she's walking, you can see her little like kind of pointy footprints. But when she's in the air, she leaves kind of like a slimy maggot trail kind of thing. It's
Nice.
pretty gross. It's pretty gross. But yes, you can always track unless she's sneaking. So you gotta be able to keep an eye on this monster, especially with that traversal with the web sling. It's she can cover some pretty serious distance.
Corey finally taking a little damage here, but still managing to combo really well. Has a couple strikes on the hunters, just constantly putting down the acid spit and forcing them to maneuver through it. Another down, and it looked like on assault there. So definitely comboing these abilities very well. And you can see just putting that acid all over the battlefield there. Down goes Medic as well.
Yeah, who's on? I can't see name tags, but I don't know whoever's on Trapper. I think it might be
Nikki.
Nikki.
Yeah. Jack pushing the monster back.
Yeah, it was Mad Cow, but I think we had a hot swap.
One more down, and definitely has an opportunity to finish here.
So whoever was playing the Trapper was doing an excellent job of really protecting his teammate, trying to push him off of the medic, which was extremely effective.
Nice.
And we got that beautiful victory screen there, Gorgon. And yeah, so good game.
Yeah.
Corey showing off his skills there.
Yeah, he did really well.
Good job, Corey.
Once again, in the house today at Turtle Rock, we have Mad Cow, we have Vernotis, we have